Nope. It's going to be one of those. Hi, guys. Everybody hear me okay? Yeah, okay, cool. Nick Tockert here with the Historical Fencing Guild. The Historical Fencing Guild is brought to you by sales of The Simple Sword and The Fighting Axe, both available through Amazon for learning your easy methods of killing each other for fun and profit. Sorry if I am a mess. I am running just a bit late tonight. See, we had some things come in, including this, because the Historical Fencing Guild is also sponsored by Hybrids, the Sons of Gods, the role-playing game. The Quick Play Edition has hit fulfillment as hitting people's hot little hands, including mine. In a world where crazy corporations are keeping ancient magics, the descendants of gods and deities are coming together to try to stop an unthinkable evil. Consider looking this up. It's a good system. I know. I made it. So, Steve, I did not break it. I just damaged it a wee bit. Now, I think everything's running all right because you guys would tell me if it wasn't. So, this is a good week. Before I go further, I want to thank my Patreon members. You guys are what's making a lot of this possible. We have a whole lot of things happening. Normally, my sound's a little different, so I might be having problems, but no one's telling me that. So it looks like we're good. All right, folks. This week we've got some stuff to cover. What do we have to cover? Well, I talked about the sales. I always talk about the sales. Where? Oh, this is all. There we go. Oh, that's this end. Wow. Okay. I had a minor, totally not falling through my background this morning. So we're hopping and popping and things are rolling. There was a question that was asked a little earlier. Man, I usually everything looks live. Okay. What last couple weeks I told you I found on the daily sale something. So naturally I ordered it. Oh, I know what's wrong. Oh, it did it again. Thank you, Frog G. Once again, my stupid live chat turned off the live chat and it hides it behind my screen. So occasionally I lose track of where I am. But okay, everything looks good. So now I know we're rocking. We got Frog G, who's a hero, Steve Clausen, who's a hero. They're both Patreon members, keeping me afloat in this. I got a box. So we'll talk some shop here. But before I do, I want to remind everybody, dig this. Dig this, y'all. Totally off topic, but I got plugged. The Hybrids game got printed and out. It is in my hot little hands. And I have a few copies that I will be selling at cons in the near future. And, seeing get to places that need gotten to. So I am horribly excited. This has been a big day. Now, but that's not what you're here about. This is the Historical Fencing Guild, not the Hybrid Guild. What's in the box? I don't know. But I have blocked out my information, and you can see it says, if you're paying attention, Natasha Darce at Purple Heart Armory. Oh, good. I can't wait to see. Oh, hi, Johnny Cage. You're probably my third or fourth favorite vampire of all time. And as you're watching this, don't worry, Johnny. I have plans. Whatever happens, you'll probably be back again. But yes, I am box fighting. Basically, if I can get a hold of an object, I can weaponize it as needed. Maybe not perfectly. I mean, I'm not Jason Bourne, but I have done amazing things with pieces of furniture. And I'm excited for you to have your copy too. And I'm excited about some of the stuff that's coming up. But see, our good friends at Purple Heart Armory, they did a good job securing this. I don't know what this tape is because this is not normal packing tape. This feels like bookbinding tape. Ooh, good stuff. Wow. Johnny will live through this show, so that's nice. You know what? Hold on. For the friends who don't know, Johnny Cage, that JP7, I'm sure that's because he's planning to star in the 7th Jurassic Park movie. And if not, he really should. And Frog G know me from my other show over on Red Valkyrie Presents. And Johnny, you rolled a 15, so yeah, you are alive for now. We'll see if periodically you don't die throughout the thing. Anyway, they've commented so much here and there that I've added them as NPCs in the game. Because that's who I am and it's just fun. But I have a box. And anyway, I got the new Dusick design. Oh my gosh. See, this was the one that was on sale, so it does have, so let's cover that now so people don't get confused. Some scraps on the side. And there you go. It's a pretty deep gouge, but doesn't affect structural integrity. And it's not as finished. If only there were a way to take a high quality piece of, I mean, I'm sure you need a Dremel tool or something to just sort of fix that. Because, yeah, you couldn't just, there we go. There we go. Look at this beautiful piece. Now, see, I'm a big Dusick fan. I actually had planned to order 2 of these after advertising them enough, but 4 of the 5 that were messed up were gone. So I took my money and ran. Stephanie, people who have... Hi, Mike T. Awesome. I having done enough of the shipping stuff, I fought more than my fair share of boxes too. I'm just catching the burrs on this. And yeah, this, guys, this is again that sub 40. Gotta remember shipping, it's a killer. But the grip is actually a bit smaller, and I really like that. I think I may have found the grip size that I need for working around my assorted limitations here. But this flows nice. I really wish I'd gotten more of them. It's light, it's easy, it is black. The new material that Purple Heart Armory has switched for is black and is significantly lighter. Sydney Kep might actually be able to make this go. I would love to hold this up against the older version that Trelena Bachman has. But this is really nice. Yeah, what this is, okay, I'm sorry, you're kind of new. Purple Heart Armory is a company that makes HEMA and Western martial arts and other martial arts trainers. This is, I believe, high density polyethylene, HDPE. It may be you, but it feels high flying feline. We got all sorts of people from my game show. But yeah, this is a really nice. I just pulled it out of the box, so that's why I'm stuttering. Normally I have time to review, and I'll do a formal review that's a bit repetitive, but this is just nice. I might get myself one that isn't all beat to heck, because there were some that were damaged in making, so they knocked $10, and I gotta take that. But this flows well. The point of balance is it is definitely a cutter. So the point of balance is about, there you go. Let me pull this back. 4 inches out. And Flying Feline is talking to Frog G. But yeah, starting hopefully this Saturday, I will start having live, probably not live, but recorded fencing videos of us sparring and playing around and having a very good time. Oh, they went with rubber on the Nargle. But I am a big fan of short swords in general. We often talk about the length of a weapon being appropriate. The blade length is as long as my arm. The overall length is to almost exactly my midpoint from its darkest. That means this is scaled really nice. And what's funny is if I compare this to something like this a week from tomorrow night, yes, Yes, I have a week to clean up the house still and set things up. Guys, Trelena is here. Yay! And yes, this gives you, for people who've handled this, it's a little shorter. I really like that. Is that supposed to endure full impact? Johnny, if you go through my older videos, you'll see us sparring at full speed with these things. Now, I haven't sparred much with the lighter plastics because the other sword I have of this material, hold on, is on the other side of the room off camera. So that being the 1.33 model, but I may manufacture a cup hilt for this boy. This is nice. They're lighter. I don't know if they're going to be sturdier. The existing ones are definitely sturdier, and Trelena knows I have a love affair with Dusseks. This is nice. The new Nurgle, which is this Nurgle thing, is a type of guard. This is set for righties because you could tell the extension covers the right. So in an A-frame guard, this is going to prevent that blade slide from coming down and hitting you. Let me see if I can demonstrate properly. Let me arm you up with the sword you can see. Here you guys go. I am the only fencing channel in the world that I know of that regularly arms its viewers. But let me give you an edge. If you cut down like this, it will slide, and this gives me a little bit of stop to ride in and then do bad things to the opposite side. Oh, I'm absolutely loving this. And you know, I pulled this out of the box 30 seconds ago, and this is fast becoming one of my favorite weapons. And I'm really looking forward to next week playing with it. And if it works, you know, my original plan was actually to order 2 because this is the summer of Drizzt. I was going to do a whole bunch of videos on dual wielding curved swords. Broken Knuckles does not build character. Broken Knuckles hurt like heck. No. Knuckle guards. Let's see. Let's pull some things about my opinion on these. We got a standard Dussek. We've got this guy. Evening thesis. Check. Hold on. Check this out. This is what I just got in the mail about an hour before we started broadcast. Steve said he's sending me some stuff. Now, I've learned if Steve says, do you mind? I can't. I have to wait to keep entering Knuckles. Yep. I just grin and smile because Steve always sends me the best stuff to play with or review or fall in love with. But because I am an artist, among many other things, most of the people who are newer to this channel know me as a DM or a game designer. Oh, but yeah, I like a lot of hand protection, especially from a fencing. And you'll notice, hey, that guard's beat up. How come your stuff's not pretty? Well, you see, the stuff that isn't lifesteal. Now this has here, just to remind, this is lifesteal. This is still my baby, and I love this little sword. But that hand protection is just gorgeous. And that's one thing we got to talk about. Hand protection. I'm so looking forward to seeing what Steve has. Because you can't fight real well if you can't grip. And if you can't grip, we have to do other things. Exactly. It's a Dussek trainer. And I have a quiet love affair for agriculturally based weaponry. You know, I am a devoted rapierist. Enunciate that or I get in trouble or sound like Sean Connery on Celebrity Jeopardy. But one of my bucket lists is to forge a Dussek specifically. If I die, can you get Oh, Michael T of High Desert Comics, you're definitely in the right area. No, because my son will want it, but from there will be discussion. I have packing tape on my shirt and it's driving me nuts. Just a second there. Okay, but yeah, this is gonna flow really snappy. It swirls well, and it even has a little bit of ergonomics at the back end for those of us with dorked up hands. These are nice. Hiya, Foxy. Foxy, this is the PHA Dusick. I got mine on sale. I warned you guys. I tried, and you know what? 4 of them got bought, but I managed to get one. It has a scar, but this, remember I have tiny hands, folks. These are not big hands. That fits really, really comfortably. I might not even ponder taking that off. Oh, hey, you know what? Always heel first. But this is a very nice trainer, guys. And it's not just the weight, and it's not just the point of balance, but the overall balance. I may have to make a sheath or a loop for this because this. Hey, you know what? It's never too late, Michael. It's never too late to get back into it with something. Whatever your price range, whatever your health situation is, whatever your living situation is, as long as you're not actively in prison, and then I can show you how to drill with nothing in your hand just to keep the gross body movements going. But we have ways to make these things work, and that's what I try to review. Because I'm making these. Yeah, you guys got to heal when you're sick. I want to give this a try, and I think, oh, that's not good, buddy. No one should say Christian Bale. That's what ruined it. Christian Bale, Batman voice. But this is going to be a very nice, very kinetic weapon. Oh, SCA, awesome. Light or heavy, Michael? I was a SCA fencer for 12 years, and then I just started hopping groups because I got in trouble with the SCA. They didn't want me teaching what I knew to other groups, so it's funny. Oh, hey now, you're a rock star. I don't think I've offended anyone, but yeah, no knuckle breaks. I'm a big fan of lacrosse gloves. And look, guys, look at this excessive eyelet for your handhole has plenty of room, not just for something like lacrosse gloves, but this should have no problem with most modern clamshell gauntlets, which means this is going to really lock in. For those of you who know some of my problems, there'll probably be a lanyard attached to this at some point, and it will go. And this is a very yeah, exactly. That's why I unelite. I teach people how to make trainers out of sticks if they have nothing else. My book is as cheap as Amazon will let me have it. And if you haven't read The Simple Sword, it's free through Kindle Unlimited. At least peruse it there if you have that service. If not, just download it. And if you want to look into Access, be sure to look into Access. I'm working on one. I had to put it off because I had a couple contract work. I'm a game designer by trade right now. So for Luke Stone Studios and part of something that's coming up, I'm not sure what all I can say about it, but I will give you, my dear friends, a hint. Because I saw, what's this? There's a logo no one's seen before. What's this? I don't know. I'm not necessarily allowed to talk about it. But hey, there's a logo called Lockdown Games. Anyhow, you know what? I've used the epoxy cutting board material. Yeah, I'm doing stuff. I've used the rapiers that were made out of packing tape, the stripe stuff, and fiberglass driveway markers. There is a whole gambit, friends. Yeah. Lockdown Games totally doesn't have a group on Facebook under the phrase Base Plus 2 Gaming. Nobody knows nothing about that. I didn't say anything. But I know nothing and I can prove it. But guys, if you're looking for a light sub 40 in your arsenal, I have an affiliate link that if it works right, it should route you through not only to Purple Heart Armory in my description, but it'll give them credit that I sent you. And please tell them I sent you anyway. I would love, a kickback and all from them, which I may or may not get. But it's more important for me that I have the voice to say yes. When I say make things like this with smaller guards for grips for smaller hands, people will already. Yes, they do. No, we'll take a second because this show is semi-formatted in that it goes it goes between things. I will show you my baby because you are a Ray purist. This is my baby. It needs to be repolished and I need to redo the leather. But this is my personal. It's one of the last oval schloggers still functional. Downstairs I have a Zamorano, if you understand what that means. But ooh, the secret squirrel is now engaging curiosity. Excellent. But this was my primary blade for 12 years. And to this day, if this were edged, this would be my primary if I walked right through the portal. I am intimately aware of this weapon. Oh, use the thicker ones for lightsaber props. Yeah, I'm prioritizing what I'm going to be. Oh yes, Johnny Cage, you just went up a level. You are I had something planned awesome for you for next week, but now you're just gonna get more awesome. Seriously, Johnny. You just got more bonus points in the other game. If the Red Valkyrie folks, who are great folks, they're running a show at this time, which is why they don't crash here, manage to crash here, they get bonuses too because I'm that shady of a DM. A lot of the people on here who you don't know I actually run games for too. Now, I'm sorry, my brace got a little wobbly for a second there, but we have a lot to talk about this week, a lot to cover. Like I said, I didn't expect this till the 9th, actually. So that this came in that fast. I love this company because if you GNR cool. And I have 3 or 4 of them just out of reach. But I will always be a rapier to short rapier. Give me the Bilbao and free my soul. I'll run things through and rock and roll. Oh yeah. Anyway. But yeah, this is beautiful. This right here, I love this design. I'm really gonna have to bug them again to make something else for me at this rate. Because this is great. My problem is my hands with the brace. Most rigs are just a little too narrow. And you know what? That string might be coming off. That string might be coming off because that would narrow it just a little bit more, make it even more comfortable. I like this though. I mean, this is nice and it's a good weight. When you are training optimally, you want to train with heavy weapons, a heavy weapon trainer, and I don't mean for SCA guys rattan, although rattan is fun. I mean a weighted trainer for practice and then a lighter trainer for tourney, especially when you're using calibration. I want to be able, and if you watch my students and I, when we get going, we can fight with extreme precision. Now, the next few weeks after a year and a half of no practices, or something like that, because it was a while due to my moving, it might get dicey. And that's okay. We're all going to have to build back. Works for Kel. Preach. Preach, Trelena. Now, I did. Last week, there was a question that was asked of me. And I feel terrible because Steve informed me, and I didn't get the message till after. I had talked about this, which is the Parry Dagger, this is the Cold Steel Parry Dagger trainer. And if I had money, I'd probably have a dozen or so of these so I could give them out. It is one of my favorite offhand. Oh, I'm cool with the Dex build, but personally, I prefer switch gripping with a hand and a half sword. We are Michael, this is the short version. Hi. You may not have known this, but you stumbled right into my my domain here. I love this sword too. And I'm just going to like send absolute measurements. This is my Lord sword. I got this when I was made a Lord the first time in the SCA. Things happen. And I am very fond of the sword. This is my favorite, like, medieval style sword. Yes, it is a Pakistani blade. Yes, a lot of people might. But yeah, you are really, you don't know it, but you've stumbled upon your people. But and yes, I keep handing these. I have a lot to review this week. I forgot. Holy moly, folks. Let me get back to answering the question. And this is why I miss questions. I get going with the content. Anyhow, I've used this for several years, beat the tar out of it. All cold steel trainers come naturally black. They use a different type of poly that I can feel my speech impediment just like staggering. But they're like most of my trainers that I regularly use, I spray paint orange. And I mentioned that. And someone apparently, I mean, like, no, really, like, here's my axe. And because the axe doesn't flex, the spray paint stays up more. Whoops. Come out here. Thrice timed. Here's my Ronald Dagger. Not the biggest fan, but I can make it go. Anyway. But they're like, what do you use? I'm like, I use the stuff. Awesome. I love HEMA. And what I am is the Historical Fencing Guild was originally founded as a group to be a bridge between SCA, HEMA, ARMA, LARPies. Anybody who wanted Eastern practitioners, we've had Taekwondo guys. Sword Sage on YouTube is an old friend of mine, and he's been involved. He pops up every once in a while. He's a busy guy, and he's on the other coast. But they asked. So I dug out, because I had thrown it away. I know. You guys just know me too well. This is the brand of spray paint I use on my trainers. The Rust-Oleum, was it Premier Touch? Painter's Touch 2X Ultra Cover. Paint and primer. I use gloss because a gloss paint for impact things holds up better. Hey, you know what? Say hi to the folks at Regen. You know, give all my love to just give all my love. I think of them in terms of Bryn and Dis and Kirby and Volson. Give them my love. Have a nice evening. Thank you for stopping by. But I got this relatively cheap at Walmart. And as you can hear, it's virtually hey, I understand. It's virtually empty. So I had to go get more, and I just knocked something down. It felt heavy. Oh, I know it knocked down. Never mind. I forgot I haven't stitched something in. That was for a later segment. I said, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Johnny, that makes my day. Johnny just says, yeah, don't forget about this. It can go badly for you. This is funny. Hold on. Boop. My screen capture broke, so I just screen captured that. I'm going to send that to them on our secret list. Hey, you have a wonderful time coming. I know that works. Yes, I know it works because I have another PVC trainer out here that I spray painted orange. Now, since we're doing stuff and I'm unboxing stuff, y'all want to see something else? Or should we get into discussion point? Let's get something else rolling. Over the course of last year, during the unspeakable pestilence that may or may not be returning, hold on, get rid of that. Move the Hello Kitty Karambit. Anyway, that's just love for Steve. I had to go to a celebration of life, a delayed funeral thing, as long as I could stand. Not on anything on them. A lot of emotions. Very, very heavy situation. I lost someone who was very dear to me. And nope, you can't have it. You can't kill it. But so it was held in Portage, Indiana, which is right next to Bass Pro Shop. So I went for Retail Therapy. And I got this little dude who hasn't been out of the box. So I'm going to get this out of the box for you guys. This is my brand new, never been out of the box Mouse Hawk. Now, let me see, is that going to stick? Pretty well. There we go. I want that unstuck. This is a Mouse Hawk head. This is a very small, isn't it? This is a very small throwing hawk. I got this for 20 some odd, I want to say just under $30 at Bass Pro. That it's on the, yeah, it is cute stuff opening night. It is actually on the shelves in Bass Pro. The price was off of it, but I didn't care. Now, longer time viewers have seen my normal hawk, battered. This is a standard throwing hawk. This is a Mouse Hawk. Note the difference in gauge, the difference in weight. Length is not that far off, but there is a difference in length. And as this is new, it will ride up with wear. Bonus points to anyone who gets that joke. But this is by a company called, and I know there were some instructions, but it is the Missouri River Company. Let me see. Now, basically, they give instructions for how to fit a tomahawk head to the handle. You shape it a bit. There's a process. And then how to sharpen the blade. So this is not, don't be mad when they send blades that aren't razor sharp, guys. A lot of people get kind of part of the phrase, but butt hurt over that. This is going to need some shaping. Why would I like a Mouse Hawk even over my full-size hawk? Now, the other thing, if this had a flattened head on the back instead of the classic teardrop, if this had just like a hammer flat face, I'd be in absolute love. I like this because, one, as you can see, I have very small hands. And now you're getting an idea of just how small they are. That is okay. Anyone who doubts that I'm going to be making a fighting trainer out of this guy hasn't been paying attention. Fighting trainer, yes, I make bootleg trainers out of things that don't have trainers using HDPE cutting board, and it works surprisingly well. So I have some left over from the wedding gear I made Stef and John. So I should be able to find enough room to make something like this. And so this has a really nice feel. Obviously, it's forward balanced, but this is going to throw nice. It will take more oomph because it doesn't have the weight, but I won't have to fight the weight as much. So this might make it easier for me to get back into throwing as I work on my hands. Because, of course, I'm doing PT in the background. Have you guys met me? Grandpa just grabs his... on the best... Absolutely, Johnny Cage. Now, see, this is a man after my own nature. Just rubs it on the best stone he can find in that day and goes off to chop wood. I am the same way. I bought my first car splitting wood at $1/4 an hour for a $300 car. So, yeah, I'm all about that. I'm a big fan of softer metals, so tuna cans or pop cans or whatever. But yeah, this is going to take a bit of filing because I want to train it right. So I'm really looking forward to it. But then I'm going to make sure the grip is nice. Now, one of the reasons I like a Mouse Hawk for like hiking applications is very rarely do I need, when I'm hiking, which I will see if I can ever again, do I need a heavy axe. In fact, much of the time, I carried something when I was hiking. Let me pull it out, make sure it's the right one. This little guy. This is a throwing axe, but this was my little hiking axe. I could prep enough wood to make a fire, do some rudimentary chopping to set up an emergency shelter overnight, and it was very, very light. But even with the paracord grip, which isn't as bad as you would think, I wanted a bit more heft in the handle. And I like access to a longer handle. The other nice thing is, yes, this will break before one of these. But finding a stick that you can mill down or make to work at this diameter is a good deal easier than this, because you need one that's as big around on the outside, so the longest, and then shape it even with the blade. What do I mean? Okay. A little bit of one of my hobbies I don't talk about much, bushcraft. If this is broken, okay, if the handle breaks, I find the blade, and I might just spray, I don't know. I'm tempted to spray paint this orange or bright colored, except for the chopping surface, not for aesthetics, but so if I drop it, it's easier to find. But I don't want to confuse it with my trainers, so we'll see. The eye of this little axe is ever so smaller on the bottom end. That's why it doesn't fly off. So what you do is you find a stick about yay big around at its widest, and you shape it. And if you don't have a knife, which, hold on, when I wake up in the morning, I put my knife on. When I go to bed, it is hung on a hook. Neon green, that is a good option because it would fit my gear. I might even get glow green. But just to help preserve it, because this is a tool. Now, you can actually then take this ad style, grabbing it here. Don't put your thumb in the hole like a Yutz. Well, see, Trey, if I put it Hunter Orange, it'll match my trainers. And I think that's my only concern. Hunter Orange stands out. And yeah, Neon Green, they'll match. And there's a point there. We'll see. But this, you can use this, yeah. Anyone else, I'd say Hunter Orange all day, but I kind of got to be different. And it would match that awesome coat Joey gave me. But you can actually kind of work this, and it's actually a very comfortable way of woodworking as sort of a hand chisel approach to carve a new handle. That's why these things were so popular, as these were very much considered essentially the multi-tool. It's a knife for crude applications. It's a hammer for things. It's a axe, obviously. It's a weapon. It's a tool. It's a lifesaver. I love practical axes and hawks. And a mouse hawk, while again not popular, and for somebody like Steve, this would be a bad idea because it's so small it would swivel in his hands a lot. It has a very understated teardrop shape. Whereas something like this, and see, the cross section is very important, has a much more pronounced. Also, this is a much harder quality wood than this. So I expect I will probably be replacing this at some point. And I don't know about the length. I might shorten it. We'll see. But no tool I own for any length of time lives forever without being modified. And that's something we need to think about, guys. We live in an era, obviously, of mass production. Mass production is beautiful. I love mass production. Somewhere, someone is making an Oron Host Club about mass production. But this, and I'm just going to put this in this little, in its plastic holder for now, because that's safe, and I'm going to have to make a leather sheath for it, which means I need to go either find it or get some more dental floss and get my leather patch and figure out what pattern I want and how I want to hang it. That's fine and dandy. But still, this is not what I would consider an everyday carry axe, but it's not far from it. I mean, there have been points in my life where this was literally an everyday carry axe because where I lived was very wooded, and I would do things where having an axe was frequent enough it warranted it. So, yeah. All in all, I haven't field tested it. I can't equate to how well it'll hold an edge yet. This is all basically unboxing. But for the price, I actually, because of the sales and stuff going on at Bass Pro it was cheaper for me to buy it off the shelf than order it. So that makes me very happy. Let me just see. Can I hang on? It is hanging on my wall now, so I don't lose it. Yeah, I have to redo my whole study and my whole house. But oh yes, yes. Fun fact: old leather coats are wonderful. Old belts are great ways to get buckles. However, there are active SCA groups not far from me on either direction. So getting good leather before them or the active fur trader groups get a hold of it, dicey. There is an event up in my neck of the woods called Feast of the Hunter's Moon. It is just north of West Lafayette, and they actually have you parked by Purdue Stadium and bus you in if you go that route. It is... What just fell? Oh, I know what just fell. It is a wonderful event. And I really do think everybody should go, although they did my Scotch boys wrong on how they talked about them being effective in battle. And I called them on that, and they looked at me funny. That's okay, too. I got... Foxy, always. Steve, always. 2, I've been known to skin leather couches alongside the road. There are reasons certain people think of me as a cryptid. What did I have that I was going to mention? Oh, Feast of the Hunter's Moon. Feast of the Hunter's Moon is where I got this. And ignore the looseness in the frog. The strap broke, and I haven't gotten around to it to fix it. But I bought this at Feast of the Hunter's Moon. It was kind of laughable because I don't normally buy... I very rarely buy swords, but I've been after a good main gouge. And while this isn't a good main gouge, it is a main gouge that at the time I could afford. And I actually quite like it. Plus, with me, it's nearly a sword. This is a good little main gouge, and I like it. It is not rusty. It actually still has some of the packing wax because it held it so well. But it's nice to have the lifesteal versions of what you use, but you need to have a training version of what you use. So we're going to get into that. Now, I think Johnny's still around if he hasn't jumped ship. So if he has, I want to talk about adventurers. And I want to take a minute today because let me double check real quick. Talked about the Dusek, which a Dusek sounds complicated. This is a period machete. Don't let that fool you. This is a farm machete turned sword. This is a very simple, very elegant, very practical. You'll notice this curve arc is very similar to many sais. Why? Because the bladesmiths who made those just sharpened the other edge in the design. The metal then curls down and loops around. Very often, this part isn't even connected. They're neat. They're simple, kind of crazy improv swords. Of course, I love these. I may get... There's something called a ferrer's knife. It's basically a farmer's knife that Purple Heart makes that would match this really well. And I'm not above just snacking one of those the next time I'm flush. But I have good reason not to be flush for the... yes, many reasons. Da, 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 da. Now, I'm not explaining that. There are hubs to discuss that, but this is I keep playing with it. That is a sign of a good sword. If I review it, I kind of like it, and I put it down, that's okay. But if I'm like, I want to play, I really might just cut that PVC wrap right off and then just wrap some grip tape if need be. This is nice. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing with this. Now, there is an ever so slight chance my wife might like it. And if my wife likes it, it's doomed. I'll never see it again because she'll go, this is mine. But she has to do physical therapy for her shoulders and stuff. So she's got some stuff coming up. But, I don't have dirty thoughts. I just occasionally have thoughts of a highly erotic nature. Now, let's talk. Yeah. Well, basically, that's why she hasn't fought and drilled with us. She has some bone spurs in her shoulder. She has a lot of physical things. I have physical things. We're all working around, seeing what we can do, how long we can do it. Now, I want to talk adventurers while we're talking about this because, guys, folks, and I don't. We're gonna. I get annoyed. I get annoyed. You know, to those of you who know, I run D&D games. I run basic RPG. I am the head for Lockdown Games. Anyway, but I've also been a gamer forever and a swordsman for almost as long. Gets real close to when you want to start my training. And one thing that bugs me is cheap backup gear. Have cheap backup gear. Right now, while I am talking to you guys, I have 2 knives on camera and a ranged weapon on camera. You're like, well, yeah, Nick, you're surrounded. Nope. Here, I'll give you the easy one. I have 2 knives and a ranged weapon on me. I highlighted the ranged weapon to make it easier because if I didn't, it would be invisible. But I didn't highlight everything. I could easily have 4 to 6 knives on me comfortably on camera right now, but I don't. I'm keeping it minuted. Oh, of course I'm underarmed. I'm underarmed Steve for sitting in front of this camera. No, like, I need something more colorful for that. But let's talk knives. First off, not daggers. SCA folks, but at least carry a knife. And carry a knife somewhere odd. And we're not necessarily talking EDC. We're talking fantasy settings, historical settings, so that it then carries the logic over. Because a good RPG is a mental simulation. It should affect how you think. Every single character you run in every single campaign should at least have a knife. And I hate saying a knife, that hurts my soul. A knife. Knives should always be in your character sheet. Well, I'm running an old school cleric who can't kill people with edged weapons. Fine and dandy. All my clerics had daggers. 1, to cut people out of roads. 2, to cut meat. 3, to hand to the rogue and say, do God's work. You know what I'm saying? Now, in this case, I obviously have, this is my day-to-day. This is a Fultz Minimalist Bowie. And yes, 2 is 1, 1 is not. Absolutely. But for the purpose of this video, I've got I have a sling, but I have a punch dagger right here that, this would be sewn in, but I don't want to wear it somewhere and forget it. So I'm working on a modular design. That's there. I added the orange one because I do like orange. I've come to the point where I like the bright colors. This is a sling. And I've been playing with this. This is a sling made out of I think I got 5 of the youth size masks for $1 at Walmart on clearance. So this is a decent, it's not the best pouch in the world, but folks, I wanted to see how cheap and easy I could do it. I could take any small thing just about south of a soda pop size can and not much smaller than a marble. I believe it. I've actually used throwing spikes. Boop. But yeah, this works. And guys, it is a mask and 2 roughly shoelace length pieces of rope. If only there were a way in an emergency, or you're stranded somewhere, to improvise a hunting weapon or a defensive weapon against wildlife or whatever. It's 2 pieces. I tied a fat knot in one end. I tied a slip knot in the other. pinch it between your two fingers, pinch it here, get your spin on, let go of the knot. It's going to send it. You practice when to let go. You do have to train, guys. I can give you the tools. I can't make you a mechanic. Well, actually, maybe I need to add slings into the new release. We might talk about that. I do like limited archery as well. So, excuse me. Because, you're not going to find totally disposable slings just, laying around everywhere. It's just not a thing. Oh, no, always keep the spear. Slings are okay. Spears of spikes of returning are no big deal. That shouldn't be a problem. Or you just need more spikes or a bottomless quiver of spikes. Any flexible DM with a moderate to high magic system should have no problem with that. Plus, give you bonuses to craft wooden spikes. I'm running a campaign where they're hunting vampires. Anyway. But I wanted to show you that if you're clever, you can upgrade your situation. And as a DM, I tell my players they can have a sling for free. They can have a club for free. They can have a staff for Johnny Cage, you better be careful. I am moderate on all things except the Constitution. That gets too close to the Second Amendment. And yeah, I reserve the right to bear stakes there, Johnny. But then again, I'm also the guy who's like, you know what's great? Wooden shotgun shells. Some of my games get colorful. Good. That's good. And make them shiny, have a pet goblin. That's always an option. I'm very pro goblin. Some of my favorite people in the world are goblins. But I wanted to talk about that because it's just that easy. Now, let's talk about Nick. Why aren't you buying new gear? You got that coat. Yes. We all know your masks are 20 years old and your gloves are of dubious nature as you clean out the garage post-flood. Right now, I will tell anybody my loaner gear is nominal. And my garage is not happy right now. I'm going to admit that we had a flood, we had chickens. Do some math. Have chickens. That most of the chickens have survived. Oh, sorry. But why does this matter? Well, you see, much like Halloween, as I aged, I used to be all about my Halloween costume. Love it. And then I reached a point where I don't need a costume. I have a yard. Well, that's my approach with the fencing guild. I used to buy gear, save up to upgrade my gear, and then I would buy loaner gear for people because other people couldn't afford it. That's who I am. On one side, benevolent. On the other side, sucker. So, I'm going to like that Dussick. It hides. Because I went to fiddle with it some more. And it just poofed. That's nifty. I like that. That tells me just how shady. Here it is. I'm background. Johnny, don't make me boot you, brother. No. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now that like I said, the Second Amendment means I have the right to bear arms, and wooden sticks are definitely arms. Please try to justify how wooden stakes and knives are not things that the forefathers would use. Really, try. Anyhow, actually don't. I don't want to hear it. Halloween said will always be my favorite holiday. We live in dark, so we can't decorate, but I can walk around as the real me and not get. Isn't that great? When I walk around as the real me, people have cryptid sightings, but or a new folk legend is born. SGB. Okay, look. Ask Great Britain. Great Britain can't even keep its own royals in house. All right. And I have no problem. I love the British people. The British people are awesome. They really are. Many of them buy my books. But no. I am pro knife. I don't make I keep politics off this channel largely, but I will stand behind knife and sword rights. Steve, you have to talk to me later. I have a t-shirt design for a project that we need to talk. I wouldn't. There's a giant machete in my. I know, but it's no fun if I don't play along, Johnny. And giant machete. I like giant machetes. This is what I use to weed whack when things get tall. It does the purpose of both dissuading the neighbors from being too chummy and cuts the weeds quite nicely. This actually was my door greeter for a long time. Oh yeah, Halloween. Halloween's great. Halloween is great for that. Oh yes. Beautiful. You guys have to understand. Hold on. Let me get that down there so you can hear me a little better. I am an old let's see, Shadowrunner, Rifter. You know, one thing I tell people, I actually just told a guy I met recently this. Dress like a main character. Like oh, Steve's singing my song. Steve, that is one of my jams. Like a good neighbor, stay over there. Now, but yeah, absolutely. Kill the weeds with extreme prejudice. Hey, remember, Dussex, everybody. And that's one thing I do love. You can walk into any Walmart and buy a disposable shetty. A disposable shetty, if you will. Someday you'll get to hear the actual Thunderstruck story, Johnny. And yeah, you got it. You're an honorary member of the thing, the Thunderstruck Club. But yeah, it's period. You can buy something similar just with a straighter blade. Oh no, not a straight blade. I can't make those go. Sorry. I have a couple items over here that I can't show on camera because they're not for you guys. Nothing shady. Don't be pervy. Oh, last year actually I bought a costume. I imagine. Yeah, thesis in my youth. In my youth, I was a bit of a free runner. And yeah, I would have loved that. Now I'm old and I'm fat and I walk with a cane, but it's a carbon fiber cane that I can do enough to surprise people with, and I call that a win. I have sword canes, but that just feels like cheating. Unless I'm training, at which point I get to play with that this soon. I'm so excited. I probably should put a better grip on it. That's a thought. But I understand. Utah, it's dangerous. Utah, California, Idaho, Oregon. It's just hot. They did that to us for a while, but then we got rain. Let's see. Oh, new handy use for the axe. New handy use for the axe, if I can pull it off. It's harder to do with it in the wrapper, but Oh, come on. Don't. Yeah, here we go. I can get my window open to look outside and see if it's raining. It appears to be, or getting close to. And I dig that. Hold on. But hang that back up. Yeah. Howdy, Cindy Cap. You're one of my favorite people. You have to tell me what you think of the quick play. I will be getting some files. Some stuff is starting to come out, which makes my life a little easier. Ooh. Oh, I'm so sorry that there was a 10,000 plus acre fire. Being offensive if I got lost piece of sword cane trainer before I. Hey, you know what? Thesis, please, if you don't mind asking your questions here, fire away. What's going on with Thesis is he's been in ongoing discussions of how to make basically one of these, which is a sword cane trainer that I designed. I'm not charging for this, like showing off how to make one, because there we go. I want people to have access. But yeah, fire away with your questions. We're literally here to help. While he's writing up his questions, I want to take a minute and thank the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. There was a debacle with my sign, and there's a new one coming out. So I will get that new sign if my printer will ever talk to my computer again. Stuff is in the works. You don't want to see. I'm ankle deep in alligators right now. Not ankle, but I don't like to swear on my channel if possible. But if you like what I'm doing, you want more advice on how to sword fight, make some rudimentary gear. The simple sword and the fighting axe both address it. I have a new book in the works. I want to get out sometime this year. Oh shoot, I have UFO hunting micro machines all over the place. Anyway, so please look into that. There's going to be I wanted to have 12 publications out in 2020. I decided that before everything went down. I'm sorry, 2021. And so I'm kind of behind, but I have stuff in the works and it's going to be great. Now, I also want to remind you, I am not sponsored by Game Shady Stories, the obnoxious cell phone gotcha game that interrupts every YouTube channel you ever watch. No, the only thing I have going for me are my amazing Patreon members and the books I sell, plus some of the side deals I do with the folks like Luke Stone and someone else who I've made a game for, plus some other things. So please consider, if you love what I'm doing and you want input or questions, if you want in on the background and even access to documents as I create them, although due to contract work it's been neglected, it's coming. Early preview videos, things like that. Please consider becoming a Patreon member for just $1 a month. It really saves my bacon. Now back to the show. Thesis says, how did I get the core stuck inside the PVC? Hey, you know what? Game Shady Stories is trademarked to Nick. I'm going to do something with it. And yeah, I really... Game Shady Stories. I'm going to do a whole thing. That's part of my plans. But to answer your question, let's pop this guy and talk about it. Whoops, wrong side. All right, to the viewers who want to know, this is comprised of half-inch Schedule 40 PVC. There is a standard end cap with a chair foot on one end. There is a male-to-male connector at about the 30-inch line here, and about 10 inches, 8 inches roughly, of grip with another end cap. You pull this apart. None of this is glued because this is still modular. Bacon. All I did is I took a core that fit a little loosely, and I literally took regular office rubber bands. The funny brown rubber bands, these ones were a little old actually, that I was doing some slingshot prototyping for a video that I intend to shoot later. And I had them just twisted around to hold it in place as a test. And honest to gosh, let me see if I can undo it. There's one. And it takes that much force pulling. Let's see if I can push it back. Back, you. That's all. And then I just pushed it in as far as it would go. It's not, let me see something. It didn't quite go in as like I wanted, so I'm going to have to readjust it, but it literally was just get it. I mean, it just like this, guys. Wadded it up, pushed it down. If I can get it to bite, and if not, that's okay. That means it's being held in by, yeah, see, it's not as clean this time because, I messed with it, but just slide this down. But the rubber that's sticking out now curls around and is binding this piece on. Handy dandy. And then you go. Easy as eating pancakes. So, let's see. Oh, it wadded up. Now, you should glue the pieces you want permanent, obviously. But I like to experiment a bit, and that's why it's been fiddly. Hope that answers your question. But yes, and Cindy, I don't know if you got to see. Oh, it's hiding from me again. That is the darndest, sneakiest little sword. And the more it does this, the more I find myself liking the dang thing. Aha! Hiding. This guy's great. And yeah, I absolutely... One thing I look for when you're looking at a curve is how natural does it feel as though you're drawing it out. This pulls really nice. There's a subtle, at extension, I don't have to move this hand. Oh, okay, excellent. Oh, I'm sorry about the disaster. But you see, it just pulls. We don't, as martial artists, train from the draw nearly enough. Jeez. Okay, what's the bolt thing? Oh, here, let me show you. This is, I believe it's called the Nargle. What this is a stop. There are, they started adding these because it's a very flat weapon. Oh, yes, hard on the diet. Let me arm you guys back up. So here's your sword. If I cut here, yay, blocky slide. But if I come at an angle here, it slides down and it catches here. You see? So if I'm in, because remember, with a curved sword especially, how did you get the coupling to not stick? I use 3/4 and 1/2 inch because that's closer to what, and the coupling fits to. I just filed it off. Okay, well, two things. Getting back to this, yeah, basically it's microquillions. And when you fight a curved weapon like this traditionally, you're in an A-shaped guard, A-frame, which is much more natural with a curve. So when I talk in my book a little bit, I mentioned 2.5, where you have first, I'm trying to get reach, so bear with my angles being wrong. Second and third, right? Well, 2.5, a little offline, or fifth, gives you this really nice A-frame defense where your right side is heavily protected. This is nice. I want back breakfast pizza. I will eat carefully on fencing day, and we'll go from there. That's the only way I can say, because I'm down 60 pounds from when I started this. I was nearly 400, just shy. I'm now at 340. What I'm doing takes discipline a lot of the time, and it means occasionally denial, but it's worth it. Thank you. Yeah, I'm moving a lot better. I'm hoping by the end of fall to be in better shape, and if I can, as I get in better shape, I can tend to the things I couldn't, so that hopefully come winter, I'll be in a condition to be more active due to preparation. everything with me is always long ball, which means sometimes I don't celebrate things like I should, but it means I usually win in the long run. So this is good. Now, let me go back. How did you? Yeah, let me show you. One, it sometimes does, but two, and that's why I'm tweaking it. This is a design in progress. You see if you can see I've been very limited because I want it to retain. But do you see that it's been filed and rounded just a bit? It actually needs to be filed and rounded more. And I've just been taking. Sorry. Sometimes this binds if it lives in my pocket. A rudimentary file. Okay, Steve. Well, I'll also be doing a lot more by then. And just slowly working to remove a minimal amount of the plastic, real careful and slow, just to deburr it, to get that slightly. I mean, we're talking micrometers here because you want it to bite at the end of it, but you want to make sure. Well, I would talk to your doctor. For me, I had the same problem, but they found out I was a type of diabetic, and I'm not gonna lie, they put me on metformin. I have to take a pill at about 6:30 every day, or I get kind of loopy. And when I first wake up, whenever that is, but it just it gave me my energy back so I could do what I needed to do. And like I said, I am not a doctor, but I won't hide my limitations and I won't hide my challenges from you guys because somebody needs to be out here telling the truth. And there isn't enough of that. Most people project themselves as perfect online and all this other stuff. Oh, God. Cindy, poor Cindy has more allergies than I can imagine. Uh, I honestly don't know, Cindy. I worry about you. And I don't mean that like the way I usually I'm worried about you, man, but like I genuinely am concerned about you. You have a lot of challenges, and I respect the challenges, but I still worry about you. The Okay, well, um, it. I'll give you some. That actually helps. Weight loss helps if you can donate it to somebody. It's a mental prospect. I don't understand it, but it's true. The other thing is when you have the design right, use a PVC glue to equip the coupling to the handle, but not the thing. Do it as a full separate unit. Let it get fully dry, and then it gets a lot easier. So yeah, I'll be happy to field work with figuring out what works and what doesn't, and so it means messing with my own designs. Yay! Hey, I'm glad. Metformin's wonderful stuff. But if you need it, that's one thing. We treat certain illnesses like it's a sin around here or conditions. I didn't choose to be diabetic. I didn't choose a lot of stuff. I have genetics, and my dad was exposed to Agent Orange. That damages genetics. It's just the real thing. So we're working on it. This is nice, though. I'm looking forward to playing with this. And as I open it on camera, I haven't gotten to play with it like I should. But this is nice. I regret because I feel bad. I feel bad because I did the right thing. I told a lot of people about it, and as if you're looking for a first sword trainer, this is really actually way up there in my esteem for just picking something to train and practice with. Yeah, but that Steve, you started donating apparently long before they were X's. Anyway, so yeah, this is really nice, and that's one thing I like about PHA. PHA does products very similar to Black Fencer, but they're American, and they have a cheap line. That's interesting. I actually have like okay, my brain just farted, just like just stopped. All my thoughts just fell out the window. That happens sometimes. Anyway, while we wait for that to load, I'm very excited about something that actually applies to us, and I can't wait to see. One of my all-time favorite book series by one of my favorite authors. That's I knew I was hypoglycemic because I've been around medically and I've helped people. But they're like, you're just on the line. Okay, well, we'll try this, see if it affects your life. And my brain started to clear, and I started to be able to move and think. And basically, a long spiral got me into the condition where I was barely able to walk. I have neuropathy in both my arms and legs. To get around, I would get about 150 steps a day with 2 canes. I had to double cane it at points or crutch it to get to the mailbox and back if that was where I went. And I'd gone from being a regular martial artist to that. It's not the first time I've fallen way down in the hole because of injury or illness, but they treated me and I changed my diet dramatically. I will tell you, egg whites are something I eat constantly. No, it just happens. Don't feel bad about it. But I hate to say I cut a bunch of carbs, boosted a bunch of protein, but because my cholesterol it was through the roof due to other things, I have to be careful on how I do it. This is all fun and games, yeah. Gotta take my mental, yeah. You know what? I need to make. I would when I switch to StreamYard at some point in the future because I'm teaching myself StreamYard and other things. I may just be like, yeah, this is the point where we take our meds. I have to take mine before, so I keep track. But yeah, that's right. Well, okay. Yeah, and see, that's they never found a high blood sugar on me, but my A1C was all messed up, and that's okay. Like, why are you talking about your health? Because people need to. Like, I have carpal tunnel. My hands don't always work. They're doing much better with the weight loss and the changes, but that means I select things that, hey, might have a grip that allows for secondary retention. You mean all the years of adapting other stuff for other people can come back around and get me to use tools? Where the hell did that go? Like this, where the grip retends so it's easier to hold on to and has lanyards. Like, maybe I've been thinking about this for years. Guys, that's what we're about, getting better. And the first thing, I can't believe I'm paying this one forward, but the first step to getting better is admitting you have a problem. But, hold on. Anyway, sorry guys. I don't have my head thingy because I had to wash it. It was getting a little gross. But that's okay. So let's see. We talked that. We talked the sword, the new one. Oh, I have something here, but doesn't belong in this channel. Steve, I'll show you at some point later. We talked hybrids. We talked some game design. I got to show the improvised sling. Nice. Excellent. I'm proud of you, Thesis. I am totally proud of you. I would tag you in so many things, but like Facebook hates trying to spell your name. So I feel bad sometimes, but I know you pay attention, so it's appreciated. But yeah, we're gonna talk that, and part of it is, yeah, I'm middle-aged. I'll let you in on a secret. I am getting very close to being 40. Oh my god. As in, I'll have to, give me a second. I don't think it will No, it will not interfere. Okay. See? Good. Go to the doctor. It will not interfere, but I'm getting very close to being 40, as in, we'll say less than 30 days, kind of. I know. And my attitude is, I've had friends, message me who know, and they're like, "Oh, how do you feel?" I'm like, "I'm married. I have a kid. I have a house. I got cars. I got my degree. I got published stuff. I'm putting games out. I'm literally, right now, it is my job to get paid. I get paid to do everything I got in trouble for being interested in high school. I write. I write. I'm involved. I make games. I draw. I sword fight. Like, now, it is still hard work, but at the same time, I'm choosing right now, thanks to the grace of my wife and understanding that this lets me work with my beautiful son. And, if I'm going to do that, I might as well be in a position to work on these streams as well. But yes, I've got nothing to sweat, and no one. Hi, hey, howdy, Silver. Silver's one of my favorite ogres. We'll show you. New sword came in, bud. This is my new Dusek trainer. This is one of the ones that was messed up due to some kind of error, so I got $10 off. And yeah, these work great. Check out the video earlier. And lots of neat things are happening on Dice Names and Dudes. I will tell you, I was planning to wrap up that adventure. I figure we're about 3 or 4 sessions, maybe 2 to 3 sessions out from being done with the planned arc of that adventure. And I was figuring, okay, they'll be done with me, and I've got some really. I'm getting some feedback that they'd like me to stick around. 2 of those, yes. 2 of these would very much likely make the angles a little wrong, but yeah, Dusseks are wonderful weapons. Look them up; they're some of my favorites. But it's like, I either like really refined weapons, small swords, rapiers, or I like real agricultural weapons, hand axes and splitting mauls, and Dusseks, which are just basically period machetes, and I do love machetes. Do not get me wrong there. I'm just like, why doesn't it have a guard? Oh, wait, it does. But that's up to us, guys. And you pick what you like and you run with it. Yeah, I'm not a two-handed weapon guy usually. I mean, yes, to the people who ask. Yes, there are exceptions. I love this thing. This thing is as close. This was purchased by James Robertson for me because it's as close to a Nagamaki as could be found at the time. And I absolutely adore this this is like a Hobbit greatsword, and I will admit, I love it. It's a little thick in the guard. It's an old weapon by Cold Steel that used to be called the tactical, the katana machete or something. It was a really terrible name for a really wonderful tool, really wonderful implement. And I wish they would come back and just call it a Messer and re-release it, because this is almost like Vampire Hunter D grade on my short self, which is hilarious. And yes, a curved Kriegsmesser, a nice Kriegsmesser. Ooh, y'all. That's why I have my Dragon Fang, the Odachi that's in the garage. Johnny Cage. You just need a medallion of a middle finger, my friend. Just floating there, because that, at least he remembers this, and that's all that matters, because this needs to be remembered. And if you don't know, you should be watching my live streamed game session on Dice Dames and Dudes over at Red Valkyrie Presents. I know they're a comic review channel, but I'm slowly corrupting them to being an RPG channel. I like having options. So if I'm using two-handed, I'm running probably my boar spear, which is out. Where is it? It's out by the living room because I was drilling with it earlier. I mean, if you don't drill with your boar spear in your living room, are you really using a living room right? You know, you put on some nice I don't know, bossa nova, maybe some lo-fi chill music, and you practice getting people. Absolutely. Yeah, see, that's right, because it's an elegant weapon from a more civilized era. Although reading the lore on it, beastly. But that's my boy D. And if you haven't read the books, look up the books. You need one hand for your meat shield. Oh God, some days I wonder how Bill, my partner, is doing. You know, he and I cleared a lot of rooms, and Bill got shot a whole lot, and I did it thanks to Bill. You know, here's to you, Bill. Empty. So ironic. D, that traitor. Eddie has the audacity to say he's involved with our sacred ancestor. But, wow. Okay, we can. You know what? I currently have 7 Patreon members. 8. I believe I have 8 Patreon members. I might just try to set up a game night for Patreon members on StreamYard or something where I can record it. Oh, come on. Oh God. There's some slander going on. No, but yeah, seriously, Thesis, Foxy, we could get a few of the Patreon. Aside from parrying air and smacking the letter E on the box, what can I do for drilling solo? Wonderful question, Cindy. Alrighty. Now, a while ago, I did a video on improving your solo stuff. I don't know if you remember, I made a padded training target. I could bring that out next week. It's currently on the wall where I use it. But you can, what you do is you either record somebody, the best way is to record somebody calling out the colors, red, blue, yellow, green, whatever, for your targets. And you have them call and you hit those areas. The hanging target, something either like a wiffle ball or a tennis ball, you can literally go to Walmart, buy one of those tennis balls they hang in garages to tell you that you've parked your car far enough, screw that into your ceiling or whatever else you have access to, and just use that as the point control ball and try to make up how many times you bounce it. So 1, 2, and the more you bounce it, the more it's gonna move. That is really, really a good idea. The other thing is the number system. Because you work with the simple sword, you use my 9 guards. So again, if you have if you record yourself just going number thrust, number thrust, and what you can do is start to build and find where your tight spots are. So 5, 7 thrust, Let me see. Let me get a short trainer. Whoop. Still one of my favorites. Okay. So 5, 7 thrust. Or I'm sorry, that's 5, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. 5, 8, thrust. I've done so many systems, I get my numbers confused. Yeah, I've been doing it this long. 5, cut. And just start counting and training yourself to find, because what will happen is at some point you'll go for a transition. High outside, low outside, and it'll feel tight, and you'll stop. That means your muscles are tight there. Do it slow, but randomize it. You can even hang a stick horizontally. So you take a chunk of PVC, because PVC is cheap, or equivalent, drill 2 holes, hang it where it's pointed at you, okay? Parry it, and then thrust past it to a target. There are a lot of ways. Yeah, the giant toy jacks. A lot of the actually Nerf of all things sells tumbling targets that you can suspend from a piece of fishing line, and they work. No worries at all with the question being delayed, guys. These things happen, and yeah, she talks downward cuts. We are at the era of you can still go to the dollar store and buy pool noodles, so you can make a padded target. You can even with a little bit of creativity in PVC make a very light grade Pell for in the house. Now, Cindy kept, because of her condition, for the folks who are kind of following us on the outside, uses very light weapons relatively lightly. So there are several people on here who the idea of a heavy sword wouldn't be comfortable, but something like my some of you haven't seen my Elven Thin Blade. This is a weapon I made myself. I obviously bought the foil blade, and I need to possibly replace the blade on this. But this is my Elven Thin Blade. Very light. But that means I can do light cuts, light parries, light smacks, very precision work with it when maybe I couldn't hold something heavier because of injury. And that's fine. Don't let anybody tell you if you have to use a literal. I've trained people with literal dowel rods. Oh, some. Okay. I have short-term memory loss. That is a side effect of some of my problems. So occasionally I lose things. If I didn't comment on that, tag me on the video again if it's on the guild list, and I will go over it. I have gaps in timeline where my treatment's making me better, but well, the other thing is you can build up. So if you can't hang things, you can build a support or again a Pell type thing that will let you hang things. Now that's a great rubber balls. Rubber balls are great. Nerf balls are great. Nerf darts are great. Heck, just cut chunks of pool noodle for all it matters. We'll work on that. You see, getting back because I got derailed off this question. So why haven't I been buying stuff? Well, I've been saving up the money largely from the Patreon account. Whoa, no. My spare Hawaiian shirt got caught in my chair wheels. Yes, I have a spare Hawaiian shirt. I try not to broadcast outside of wearing a Hawaiian shirt. Yeah, one of those hanging racks, something over the door. There are a lot of options, especially if you're running very light. But in a closet, just move your clothes aside and hang it off the closet rod. But God, I love this group. What I'm going to be doing right now, my list field is completely down. For the first time in decades, my list field is just down. I've remowed the grass. I tried a new solar thing. The guy who helps me with my grass mowed down the solar thing. So we're going to have some other things. But I'm working on getting lighting back there without outside electricity issues due to me living in an old house with problems. But Yes. Let's see. Dry erase marker. 1 second. Let's see what we can do here, Cindy. Now, I have no excuse if my art sucks other than my hands aren't working real well today. Let me pull this castle out because I don't know. Yeah, I'll pull the castle out. Pull the castle out. Let me see. Can you see? Yeah, well enough. Well, give me just a second to set this rig up. I'm sorry, a sword came to say hi. It wasn't aggressive. It was just, hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Now, that's got somebody's name on it. If what kind of fairy lights are you talking, Steve? I gotta be careful. I gotta be careful with the face, Steve. Boop. But oh yes, it won't cut worth a dang. I'm just setting up a white background. It's like, what happened to the? Oh, Steve's trying to find out if I can get in trouble with the local fae for reasons of his own amusement. Jeez. Knowing Steve, he would bring a cadre of belly dancers to hold lights. Anyhow, we've got options, guys. You can. One of my favorites is the take a weighted base, add some PVC parts, and hang a Pell. No, we are not doing Hangman. I realize I blurred that. Hang a little ball if you don't have a support. The other thing you could do is, as long as you have a base you can clamp it to, you could very easily make a T target, pad it with pool noodles. This is not to scale, and use this as just like a targeter. This time of year, plastic skulls are easily found. Next trip. Oh, that's fine. Don't feel bad. I have a complicated history with belly dancers in that I have an uncanny habit of summoning them when I'm not trying to. And yeah, I know that sounds like snark or braggadocio or something. They just show up when I pull out one of my drums and I start Bilotti. Bilotti's like that. But coat hangers would work just fine. See, there are a lot of options. And that's the thing. When you're not being elitist about your gear, there are places where you find gear like what I found you that function the same and cost $200, $500 for a throw pillow pinned to the wall. Don't do that. Be clever. And Cindy Cap's one of the sharpest people I know when it comes to certain things. It's certainly the most organized mind. I've witnessed the way she choreographs fight choreography for her books, and I've seen how it's translated to the comic books a little bit anyway. Almost, I hate to admit it, it's almost intimidatingly intelligent, and I love it. But it's just I associate with some scary smart people, and Cindy Cap, while she never admit it, is definitely one of them. But yeah, guys, I teach people to make trainers out of cutting boards. Foxy, you may have just come up with the answer to your own question earlier. There are any number of really good belly dance videos that you can find both for purchase and for download. And what I can do is I can talk to Amanda, and she can recommend some. in the past, she had done some belly dance with the SCA. Now she'll never do such a thing on camera because she's humble and awesome, but there are ways. If you're trying to get in shape, I will tell you belly dance does work. YouTube has a lot, but it's one of those where it has so many. You kind of have it's easier if there's some screening. YouTube University. Guys, well, let's look at it. I am a proud professor at YouTube University. And for the person who was asking, I swear every week or so I get a message. Well, I just want to go over the blocks. This channel was originally founded for a single video. The very first video, somebody wanted to be able to drill with guidance the first the 9 guards of my system. So it's upright, which is ridiculous, but works well for cell phones. And yes, belly dance does require a little bit of belly for the accentuating. A more slender athletic or boxier frame, it's harder for the curves to move. It can, oh my God, can it? But when there's a little bit more to accentuate, it just becomes dynamic artwork, you know? But yeah. So I totally approve of dancing and belly dancing. Yeah, so you know what, guys? Guildies who are watching, who are on the Facebook, the Facebook Historical Fencing Guild public group, hit up there, and why don't you guys just share some good links there on basic belly dancing? That way, Foxy can find it, and I'll ask Mandy to throw some stuff that she knows up there if I remember. If not, remind me, and then I'll do it. Because I believe anybody who wants to learn anything should be able to, as long as they can do it to an extent. So yeah, we'll do that. And belly dance is wonderful for strengthening your core, adjusting your balance, and in some cases can really help people with footwork. I have known, before anybody asks, I've known some impressive male belly dancers, and never hesitate to learn something because you never know where it's going to come in handy. As a fat guy whose favorite dance is this right here, this is the fat guy happy dance. If you've never seen the fat guy happy dance done, this is the fat guy happy dance. I can do this anywhere to any song, and no one bats an eye because it's the fat guy happy dance. But you add a little belly dance in there, and it does work. You know, chunky monkeys for the win. You know, behold the power of the mighty manatee man. Well, you know what? Okay, the other thing is weight is a number that's disruptive, especially for somebody who's getting in shape, because there will always be a period. If you are using weight loss, if you're getting, let me put it this way, if you're getting healthier by increasing physical activity carefully, there is a period where you will gain weight because muscle grows, muscle mass eats fat, but it's heavier. But fastest fast can be, never touch me. Anyway, you guys, wow, I just realized I have something hilarious that I might make available for the guild, for the Patreon members. I might just throw up the audio adventures of Jimmy that I did when my hands were all fried and I was vaguely feverish. I made up a very, very short podcast style adventure story about but now ooh, oh God, I'm not tempted to have Red Valkyrie presents, if depending on how they go, meet Jimmy. Jimmy's the shit. I totally want an animated short of that. Oh God, I might just have to arrange something like that. But that's on my to-do list. My to-do list is nearly infinite of a variety of creative activities. But we ooh. Ooh, I may have to. If people are upgrading and firing up, I will double check. I don't always get the notices like I'm supposed to. So I'll be just popping along and it'll be like so and so comment. I'm like, wait, that's my Patreon site. Awesome. I appreciate all the help, guys, because it just helps. And I need to double check because I know there's some tier bonuses for people who upgrade. So yeah, we will definitely do that. And I consider my patrons my clients. So if there's something they want, that's what I used to think I was. Fighting and dancing are very similar. Because it's ironic, because if you ever meet me in life, especially on a bad day, I don't walk on bad days. I use my fencing footwork because it's more stable. And to the point, I've had people driving down the road across a parking lot grind to a halt because they realized I was out and about because they recognized my stride. So, the Dagger tier of my patrons. There's Dagger tiers and Sword tier, and I don't think there's anything higher than that, but I have to double check. Yes, dancing is total. Yeah, I believe it was Fred Astaire. And I will say this: I love the classic musicals, the sort of pre. I actually had this discussion, and it does overlap. The pre Andrew Lloyd Webber and then pre American Idol. So I see three big tiers in American musical that really get discussed. You have the MGM Grand era musicals. You know what I'm talking about. This is where you find things like My Fair Lady, uh, right into the Slipper and the Rose. And then you have like the Andrew Lloyd Webber era, where Phantom is untouchable. I will never assail Phantom. I love Phantom. But Cats hurts me, and I will be the guy who says I'm not a big fan of Rent. And that affected how a lot of musicals went. And then American Idol came, and people got in this habit of, I don't have to hit a note, I just have to throw sounds at it. There are exceptions, because I do recognize Anna Kendrick, for example, is an exceptional singer of the modern musical style. And that I don't count as, a singer, like a musical actress, be someone like Anna Kendrick. But yeah, I could get into that all day. And I also have a thing for older, rougher voices with a little bit of experience. So auto-tuning is like bad. Auto-tuning singing is like bad CGI in a sword fight scene to me. There's pain. See, that's the trick. The part of it is I have different styles that I fight, and I have different styles that I talk about. But if you look like my style is not a fighty looking style. A lot of that's deliberate because I will always want to de-escalate. And there's a sliding scale, guys. You have to understand, from I'm playing to I'm sparring to I'm fighting in tournament mode. Speech impediment. Say what? What? Clear dark night and a clear bright moon. Anyway, Dark Moon Miracle. Hi. Next month I'll be asking Christian Dutch about my swords. Still want to show them to you when they. Please do. Please do. It's so glad to see you. And because you arrived late or you haven't commented, they sent me a happy little Dusick that I bought it, but this is nice. It's light, it's fast. So I love the guys at Purple Heart Armory. Now, aside from an affiliate link, which I will tell you in all honesty, no one who's bought gear, the affiliate link has succeeded. So I'm not sure what's going on. But they know it's coming through. So be sure to comment at least that I sent you whenever you buy something. Sorry, now I have a couple songs clashing in my head. Thank you. If anything, to let me know if it's actually working. I may have typoed something, but okay. Thank you. I'm sorry, Cindy. We're just having some problems with just Facebook and tech in general, and that's okay. But yes, we have some good stuff. Before, let's see, we're hitting the last 10 minutes or so without unless you guys. Oh, what's fun is when I'm drilling someone recognize that that is cool. I don't get that because I've been. Well, it's funny. It's cool when somebody's like, "Oh, you fight this way." I've had people accuse me of being a Nikito guy. That's one of the funniest things. That you're a Nikito guy. No, I'm not. I will tell you this. I have never attended a formal Eastern martial arts dojo at all. Thank you. I assume you're talking like the Barbary sabers, Amshirs. I would love. I would love. Tell me how they work because they're on my kind of lust list. This is still the summer of Drizzt, and dual wielding curvy swords is pretty darn sexy. But right now, all my money's going to upgrading the list field. So we'll see what happens come winter when my priorities shift again, and reordering stock as I might get to do cons. We're looking at one that we may. It's a little too soon, but yes, they absolutely. There's a fun line, and I love their basic trainers because they're affordable. They compete perfectly with things like uh, Cold Steel's line, and the only thing is you gotta watch the shipping a bit. One day I have reason at some point to visit Texas, and I believe it's in Houston, Texas. Now, Houston, Texas is a big place. I've been there before, long time ago, but I would love someday to arrange like an actual visit and just buy a truckload of trainers. Yeah, it really is. Awesome. And please comment when it says notes and stuff. Comment that you're trying the link, and because if there's is a problem, I'd love to know, and I'd love for them to know. And again, none of this is bashing PHA. Their Purple Heart Armory is an amazing company. Like I was saying, at some point I want to go visit my dear friends, one of my dear friends who lives in Houston, and I don't want to out anybody. But then I want to, while I'm there, I want to hit up Purple Heart Armory, Dark Heart Armory. Sorry, that's a whole different thing. Mantis, yes, Mantis will be like yes, Mantis, but that's also you're going to get a lot of eye off of Mantis. Crane will get you attention, although Crane's harder to practice if you're walking around. Now, like I said, I had a guy who militantly told me, "You're an Aikido guy." Never done Aikido a day in my life. Like, well, no, I've watched you move. You're an Aikido guy. Sorry. Well, don't lie to me. Why are you lying? You think it makes you special? And I'm like, dude, I've never done Aikido. My sword style is a whole hodgepodge of things like Gigante and Thibault and Maestro Ramirez's work with Destreza and Dr. Yang Juing Ming's introduction to sword. Northern Jin has some elements have flit in there. Elements of sorted Tai Chi variants is in there. I for a while was dabbling, but my VCD. Yes, I said my VCD. Uh, basically wore out of a 7-point style from China that I was tinkering with. That Sword Sage hooked me up with that. I'd love to find it again, come to think of it. But people just always assume it's this, that, or the other. Hand just sort of pops up. Oh. Sorry, we were on connect. Oh, Marzano is great. Bolognese is a wonderful school, but again, I'm a Gigante guy. Like Gigante is always going to be my favorite. Part of it was the translation that Tom Leone did was so easy to read, and there's a practicality to Gigante. But Marazzo, man, no problem, because they almost run hand and hand in hand. They're very similar, and yet you almost have to look at Agrippa at some point, at least once. And Fiore is fun. Now see, I love that any free 6-week class I could find. There was a time in life I wanted to do that, and I did dabble in Iaido for a while, and I wish I could have done more. But it was off the books with, again, because I'm the Tau of I'm sorry, Miss Tau is the dual wielded Tau. I love Tau. Tau are wonderful things. Childless broadsword. Oh my god, do I love Tau. And PHA makes a beautiful Tau. Not gonna kid it. Their Tau trainers gorgeous for very, very minimal. But yes, sorry, I realized Spanish Masters, Destrencha, exactly, and that's why Sword Sage and I get along so well. Okay, wait. Yes, the Destreza and Bagua overlap so well. I'm a big fan of practical applications. Do I have plans for a second edition to the Simple Sword? Right now, published, you have the Simple Sword and the Fighting Axe. We will have there is a book requested by my Patreon that again, when I'm not working on stuff. Oh god, I will get to that, Steve. Called the Poor Swordmaster's Guide to Arms and Armor, which will be me talking about how to make things like the trainers and the gear and how to acquire it. And it's one of those, when I get that that window in my time, I'm just gonna finish knocking it out. It's mostly outlined, and my Patreon members have access to that outline. They can look at it because I don't see them ripping me off out of my own book. That would just be bad form. But that's coming out. Then the Strong Sword will be after that. Yeah, I think I'll focus on the Strong Sword, which will probably cut into, that'll be sabers, concussive styles where you get Meyer Great Sword, and possibly spears and halberds and glaives and all that happy-go-lucky stuff. I'm not quite sure how I want to break up all the sections I want to do. And then there'll be another one. Actually, I've ordered through Amazon. Dark Moon Miracle. Yeah, I've ordered both the big cutting boards that I've used for things like Stephanie's Axe of the Goblin Queen and John Hudson's Trench Cleaver, which is basically, I had to mute some of the elements to make it essentially a butterfly knife, but I like it. Yeah. If you're looking for just a straight oak dowel, hard oak dowel, hickory works great. Hardwood like moldings can be shaped, and some of the PVC, but that can get fragile. Don't be afraid to make something. Heck, make a trainer out of cardboard, wrap it in duct tape, beat the heck out of it, figure out what works and doesn't. I figured when you referenced the swords you're making. No. And I'll just go by. I have people in my circle who are trans, who are sliding scale of trans. I'm terrible with names and I'm terrible with things, but yeah, rubber ducky duct tape. Yeah. Well, rubber ducky duct tape's good, but where did it go? Ah ha ha. You could also use. Oh, and I found the original. Nope. Oh, that's a kunai. I have a kunai. Don't know what I did a review on it. It's an interesting little thing, but whoop. Hello, kitty. Hello, kitty. We love Hello Kitty. We love Hello Kitty. Da, 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 da. Hello Kitty, Hello Kitty, Hello Kitty, Karambit. Thank you, Jimmy. Whoop, that went across the room because I rolled like, yeah, tie-dye, get some fun duct tape. Camp pad. Just get, let me see, camp pad, yoga mat, stack it, wrap it, you're good to go. That's what the Hello Kitty Karambit, which is now on the other side of the table, is made out of. I don't like I don't like sharp simulation because it's hard to balance out. And it gets a little funny. But don't get one thing we're really big on here is don't get caught up in the materials. Don't let that be an impediment. The Hello Kitty Karambit's made out of stick. I'm trying to see what not. I have made. If you go in the Wayback File, you'll find my 25-cent sword trainer, where I took a piece of wood lath like this, which costs 25 cents at Menards, and made a trainer out of it. It's not hard. You just keep a flexible mind. Dowel rods. I mean, dowel rods make great straight canes trainers. This is something I was making that failed. I'll show you guys. Apparently, the type of Sharpie I was using reacted poorly to the varnish. But I've made a lot of dowel rod trainers and staves. Trelena is in possession of one of the greatest projects I've ever made on that front. But that's a long thing. Yeah, you could use padding. Be gentle. Calibration is everything. Be smart. When in doubt, bounce it. But period trainers, period Dusek trainers were wooden dowels with leather that's padded, stitched leather padded. They still make them. They're expensive, but they're fascinating. And they're very good for mire, your aggressive curving styles. Pop, pop, very high, very fast. If I said Windsong is the most expensive thing I've ever made, and I don't regret an iota of the cost, you understand it. But yeah, she's something else. Windsong something else. But that's me following another tradition of being a swordmaster, sometimes a mathematician. Geez, I am, because I mean I do statistics regularly to figure out. Sometimes I realize just how hard tradition gets a hold of me. But yeah, it sounds funny, but if I ever were to tally up my favorite tasks and those I feel that most mattered creative wise, Windsong is definitely still up there. But oh geez, I've had my spare head thing this whole time. Hold on. Oh, I feel so much better because like the sweat starts to get in my eyes when I'm going, and it is so warm here. And yeah, I'm well past my 2-hour mark, but nobody seems to be bothered, so I'm just kind of still chatting. I've got a good group here. Oh, Windsong is a very specific we'll say staff trainer, and we'll leave it at that. That I made as a gift for Trelena Bachman under some. It was necessary by my universe to make it. So yeah. Back when we were doing Bob for most of my house, we wanted blades by me and not our king because he had no idea how most. Oh god, I hate how quickly people take titles. Do you know why I took the term Swordmaster? You know why? Because I looked for a term that wasn't grabbed by some other status. I didn't want to be a poser. And saying maestro or whatever sounded pompous. Swordmaster. I teach people how to sword fight. I am Over the years, I am reasonably comfortable taking the term weapons master only because it's been inflicted upon me by my students in reference to a character from one of Mercedes Lackey's books. But yeah, don't fall for that ego tripping title thing, guys. And yeah, think about one thing with boffers. Pool noodle style boffers handle like pool noodle style boffers. If you jump to plastidip style, there's a. I get no. It's like I get you, and it's just I hesitate around. Is it really? Hmm. Did not know that. Um. That's funny. Anyway. But sorry. There's a lot of thought in humor. I'm waiting to see how many senpais he gets coming up. Nobody's gonna call me senpai. Oh, geez, gall, you trying to get me in trouble? No. But guys, oh, cool. Or not cool. I don't know the connotation, and I find it's dangerous to assume positivity with parents. Ooh, woo. Ha 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 ha, Johnny. Yeah, I have some art I have to do involving Johnny, Wolverine, Silver Ogre, and Frog G. But PVC core wrapped in foam. Yeah, yeah, that's a great way to make it. Because you can layer it out. It didn't even occur to me. But thank you. And like I said, that seemed. I talked to my students at the time because there was some debate over what to call me. I was getting some senseis, and I started feeling way too much like Splinter of the Ninja Turtles and a few other things. And I'm like, I'm a swordmaster. It's what I do. I teach people, so call me that, and we'll get down the line because I hate titles. I hate ranks. I have some people who I will go, they're an instructor, you're not, and that's you just about always an earned thing. I don't care how good you are at the game. It's how good are you at imparting what you know and admitting what you don't for how I work with people. It's complex, and I admit it freely. But guys, we need that. We need that complexity. Let me try and adjust this because I realize I don't maintain eye contact because my tab over the little white light of death that blares like an angry angel is giving me a middle finger is right next to the camera. Only problem with group is wait. Well, see, and that's the thing, balancing out the style of padded weapons. This is why I really like. I'll start people off possibly with buffers, but I think uh, a rigid HEMA trainer is safer than a buffer because you armor for it, and you train with that. People don't feel safe. If I take something like this, okay, and there is some safety, you can mess somebody up with one of these, but they know you can mess somebody up, so they respect the weapon. You always want people to respect the weapon. You want to respect what you're doing with it. You want to respect your opponent. That's why you see me on the list, running a list field, any game. I see the tip of somebody's sword hit the dirt. That's like nails on the chalkboard to my soul. It's disrespecting the weapon, and it's disrespecting your opponent when they get a big muddy stripe across their chest. So yeah, you pick weapons that are safe. I mean, obviously, do not dual drill. Well, drill, we'll talk. Drill is a different situation, but do not spar and engage other people with live steel. I don't want it choreographed. I don't want. Uh, And here's the thing. What Thesis is talking about is what are the conventions of your group. Now, many groups have conventions where something like that's fairly common for some LARP groups. It's so much thickness of so much it becomes a matter of finding out what works for you. I'm sorry, I'm thinking, so I gesture, and as anyone who's watched this channel knows, if I have a trainer in reach, especially one I'm intimately familiar with, I play with it and I do unpleasant things because different trainers are made for different things. This is based on a K-bar loosely. This knife is not a friendly knife. This is not a fancy knife. This is not a medieval, there's no mythos to this knife for me. So, but then your calibration has to be respectfully on par. I believe, but we aren't nutters either. Exactly. Calibration needs to be a thing. If you're doing headshots, you need head protection. That's why fencing masks are great for everybody. They're relatively inexpensive in this game, especially if you look around a bit, and they can hold up for years. That's not bad. But that Elric, that's what I'm doing is writing. The book I'm writing right now is on the subject of light sparring kit. Making it, what to buy, what to get. I will help though. I will help. Get yourself a cup holder, not a jock strap. Okay. You know what? We're into this. This is gonna be a late night and I'm groovy with it. If you are a guy, wear a cup. I've had to fight this with people. Wear a cup. Don't buy a jockstrap. Buy the kind that are basically bicycle shorts with a pocket. The reason is I knew at the time she was rather attractive, redhead, who would dual wield and mastered the art of moving a cup with one shot and poking under it. Was that vicious, cruel, and yes. That sword fighting, literally, that's what the Swordmaster's Guide to Arms and Armor is going to be. And that you guys are talking about means I really need to get off my Hawaiian shirt clad tail fin here and crank on that. I'm almost done with a couple of my project pieces, and then I'll be able to do it. Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, yes, she did. And as much as I dislike it, there are times for that. So she was rather annoyed, one, because she couldn't land it, and two, when she finally did, trying to be cute, it didn't work because my gear didn't let her. Yeah. Anyway, wear a cup. The next thing, and women should wear a Jill if you can find one, but they're harder. This is a plastron. You can make one out of thin, like 1/8" HDPE. Cut it out in a vaguely chest plate shape. Yes and no, and we'll let that go because that's history that doesn't need to be done. These kind come with a nice little elastic strapping system. This is going to cover your sternum. This will save your life. Don't, you know what? I'm going to swear here, so apologies, but don't fuck around. Protect your chest. I had 5 ribs ripped off of my sternum. That wouldn't have happened if I had this. I wouldn't hurt every day of my life when I wake up in the morning if it weren't for this. Point. The next thing is gorgets, net guards. I've done making them. I'm about due to do a whole nother video on gorget making once I have the parts again. Foxy, that's the thing. You don't. Yes, cheap. As Steve, I have a decent plate carrier of the militaristic tactical style that has custom, that I made plastic plate inserts with foam for fighting. I don't wear it much because I don't want to damage my plate carrier and because I don't want passersby to get the wrong inclusion. So go with an all black one that you can make sure is obviously fantasy labeled is a good idea. There are plastrons that will give breast protection. Okay, some are more molded than others. There are disc ones on the market still in some places. Please never buy a disc one, because if it is hit, it can make a scissoring motion. I have been around that wound. It is nothing anyone wants to endure. But these actually can work. There are female more balanced, and they fit like the front of a bustier, and that's you're not the only one. Stef Mari is of a similar situation, and she found at least soft padding, but please, because the reason I say that, no, you do not want. Now, okay, it is possible to fight in a corset, and there are different levels of corsetry. So understanding the patterning for a corset is not bad, but you don't want your armor to restrict your breathing either. And yes, they what you want is a high that's going to sit under your gorget flap. It's going to give motion for your arms. So you may have weak spots armor wise here and here. That could be addressed with pauldrons and or over armor, but you want it to come down as a solid three-dimensional piece that covers your chest and your all the way to the diaphragm minimum, and that way impacts are deflected. Now, there are jackets that have a blade catch, which is basically the collar goes up like this. And the idea of these jackets is that if a training blade, especially a HEMA, gets here, it gets caught here to minimize gackage. My voice is actually damaged because I had an ill-fitting gorget and I took a shot to the throat. Uh, so yeah, you want to use that. You could use that for actually. You know what'd be a good way to look at it? Have you ever made a duct tape dressing dummy, where basically you wear probably sports bra that fits the girls where you want them to be, in a fitted T-shirt, duct tape it down and carefully cut it off. And yes, there are a couple leather makers if you can afford it. I have like no host if I lean over my ribs touch my hips. You're not the only one. I've seen pictures of you from your Facebook thing. I have to phrase this so people don't think I'm being pervy. But yeah, there are ways around that, and we can look into it. I can't remember if they talk much about that in the Armored Rose or not, but I still really recommend looking at the Armored Rose as a guide for any female who's fighting any style. Even if it doesn't all apply and much of it won't, what does is just vital information, especially when it comes to understanding the hinging, essentially because when you articulate, I lost the word articulation. I failed to articulate. But when you're building armor for women, the knees work dramatically different because the musculature is different in the knees. The wrists move different. The hips move different. So when they talk about armor made for women, it's not, look, it has boobs. Because many times the girls can fit in a domed breastplate quite comfortably in many cases. There are, of course, exceptions for the heavier. And you know what? I think it may be a case, Cindy, where it was such rare knowledge at the time that I gleaned onto it because I knew female fighters, including my wife, who were constantly getting bitten and torn apart, not by the weapon strikes, but the way their armor would pinch. But and that's again, I'm pleased don't think that was a negative. That's pure. It's not a shot of this. What I talk about somebody's weight or build, it is never a shot at their appearance nor a implement. Like, how do I put it? You know, it's like when I talk to people who talk to me about my weight, often it's presented as a sin. It's you are an embodiment of gluttony gets thrown at me a lot in a lot of the circles I travel in. And okay, cool. And we can work on making patterns because what you do, you take that. Like I say, I'm sorry, I got distracted. You make the duct tape form out of a shirt and carefully, safely cut yourself out of it, retape it, fill it with great stuff foam on a stick, and you now have a dressing dummy that fits your proportions. Yeah. The disc in the pocket of the jacket are horrific. They never do what they're supposed to do, and they're not safe. I hate to say it, it's very much has that. Wow, this sounds terrible, but the uneducated male trying to tailor armor to not understanding female physiology and not talking to females about it drives me bonkers. But well, uh, Japanese females did. This is an era before um undergarments as we know them, especially in that region. Things were very different then. Plus, large numbers of the just statuesqueness of the women of that period were not excessively busty. There were exceptions, but it just wasn't a trait, at least accentuated in the art of the time. That being said, the other thing about Japanese archery, often the bow was much, much, much longer. That's why they have this high arc. I don't know if you've seen the Japanese uh, archery. Often the hand is upside down. Usually it's a higher stance in cases, especially with female archers. But it's different. I'm not an authority on the subject, but I've seen some of it. I find it fascinating because I was taught years ago a very rudimentary, simple, get it done style of archery. I favor light to medium weights of bows, although I do have a love affair for my 80-pound compound crossbow, my 80-pound recurve. I love that thing. It's basically a longbow, but it just I call it my DeWalt because it just drills the arrows in. But that's more than sufficient, and I do favor usually between a 30 and a 50, like 35 to 50 pound. I do. It's funny. I have to switch probably if I'm going to keep doing archery to a compound. I have one that I have access to, but I'm just not used to the feeling. Yes, Sydney kept being brilliant. If you've done costuming and you've done like a halter style top, but you armor it, that's going to give you a really nice plastron design. Oh, I have a couple crossbows I adore. Crossbow is nice. Pistol crossbow is pistol crossbow. Who doesn't love pistol crossbow? Um, okay, now that's interesting. When you talk about, I changed my teaching style to dealing with men than women. You can't teach everyone the same, but there's some things that translate well in different textures. Are you talking approach versus content? When I talk about teaching female students, the what I focus on when I'm talking about that, not only is it traditionally you have to build aggression up in a lot of my female students. Now, mind you, I have non-traditional students. Many of the people come from positions of depression, injury, trauma. They need it. Occasionally, somebody who's responded with aggression and they want to be pulled down. But when I talk about the differences of female, I talk about changing the footwork to incorporate the hips. Staff work is different for women, and that's okay. A lot of times I'll defer to Amanda because she's better at it than I'm, being a woman. But one thing is the wrists. Now, I have beneath these, the tendons in my right wrist are a female, uh, are traditionally female. The tendons in my left wrist are male. Figure that out. It's okay. What it means is wrap shots come much more naturally because of the way the hand flows. So, what would be something I work up very slowly with men, and I teach very deliberately. Because if you notice, my wrap shot right hand, let me get something small enough and visible enough. Okay, let's just grab this guy. This shows up on camera real well. Haven't decided what blade I'm putting on this. This did have a little guard, but okay. Wrap shot. Whip. See how it just snaps back? You're not attacking here. You can, and if you miss, so let me move over to accentuate this a second. Here we go. You see how it curls around? Whip. Very natural. It's a very fluid snapping motion. I'm going to lean way back so you can see it. Whip. Now, if I try to do that left-handed, and it isn't left versus right because I'm ambidextrous, it's mechanical. It's a lot, there's a lot, you see there's a lot more force. I have to kind of clunk it almost because the biological logistics are different between my hands. Now, whether it's my tendons healed that way due to several injuries or was it natural, I simply don't know. I've been rigged that way since I started fencing SCA in late 2000. So mid 2000, somewhere in there. Actually, yeah, mid 2000. Now let's see. Let me fast forward ahead. I was teaching, but approach slow, lizard brain. I don't want to hurt my friends. That's where safety, and it's okay to build slow up. And not, you can't, one thing, guys versus women. There's a traditional male style of teaching that I hate. I'm going to hit you the same way. And I'm just going to pound you, and eventually you'll figure it out. That doesn't work. And you'll see me. Go back through the videos. I am totally confident in saying this. If I'm killing somebody, unless they're being an ass, but if I'm killing somebody the same way, and even if they're being an ass usually, after 3 times, I'll stop. Hold. I have killed you the same way 3 times in rapid succession. Let me show you how I'm doing it, and then I'm going to do it again. So you know it's coming slowly. That way you can develop a response. But that's really, you need, teaching is a separate art from doing. They're interrelated, but it is a little different. Let's see. Booby, I'm thinking steampunk, yes. Need to find Silver Ogre. Yeah. Let's just say Bob Salvatore was really, really influential on what got me into what. I mean, ignoring the guard, no idea why wanting 2 of these would be a thing at all, Bob. Bob Salvatore, you're not Bob. Hold on. I found something looking for something. I found something else looking for something else. Woohoo! I had a bit of a problem. My gear all fell over right before the video, which is why the thing was messed up. No, old school Drizzt fans will see this that they sold, I want to say, as a Dow. We'll see this and laugh because it's like, this is old school Drizzt imagery for a scimitar. So this, double serendipity, absolutely. I love this thing. Now, this particular one weighs about 3 to 4 times than the Dusik. I brought the second one. Oh, God. These guys, when I say talking about training with a heavier weapon, this is definitely it. Now, the one thing that's funny is I'm not an Eskrima guy. I probably should be, but I'm not. The grip is just a bit too thick for me. I can make it go, and I'm having a little adaptation, but this is so, there's just a cool factor here. And one of these days, I'll probably buy a brace of the Barbary Sabers from Purple Heart Armory. This is by Wu Jia, or Jia Wu, I flip it around. I believe, yeah, it's got the same mark. And this is a very nice, very aggressive. But you can tell, like, you've seen me fight with things. This, you have to fight. Oh, awesome, cool. That's a Chinese Dao trainer. Isle Sifu had one. Yes, it is a Chinese Dao trainer. It is also very reminiscent of a falchion or a scimitar as they were described in the early days. Now, the one thing, let's talk that, because I'm here and I'm going to talk that. That's how Drizzt was depicted. I look forward to seeing it in the old days with that as a scimitar. Then Todd Lockwood was assigned the D&D primary artist. And to keep the manuals looking the same as the different book covers and all of it sort of in branding, Drizzt grew a different kind of scimitar, and it became very... Do I have anything even close to it? I don't really have anything close. This is closer, but it's not straight enough. I mean, Drizzt's later take on his scimitars were very straight, very slender. And it's interesting because they got a very subtle and sometimes not at all curve, which was even highlighted as a major plot point in a couple of the books. Even so, that is straight for exactly old school Drizzt. And it's fascinating because that influenced a lot, but the fighting style and the changes that Bob put in, it just interests me how the accepted definition of the sword. Yes, it went from scimitar to Dao to katana to Lord of the Rings elven sword. Absolutely. And you know what? That kind of bothers me. Because I'm not saying I don't love the Lord of the Rings weaponry. My God. That would be, that would mean I don't love Sting. And that would be a lie. Because I absolutely adore this leaf-bladed piece of beauty right here. I'm debating getting a second one of these to spar with just to be an aggressive halfling. I love this little sword. I've debated getting a live steel if they'd make one practical and not wall hanger. I love this little guy. It's a Celtic leaf blade. This fits my originally red. There's still some red left. I haven't lost all the red toner in my beard, but I love this. But the elven swords have no guards. They're very limited in what they can do. And they're especially... You see Steve there? You see me mention Sting? See him say, yay, dagger fighting? Gosh darn it. I mean, he's not wrong for him. Yeah. That's a great thumbnail. I should do more thumbnails like that. But angry hobbitses. I love being a hobbitses, a Nobius, all sorts of things. But seriously, guys, let's talk swords and axes and things. This right here. Hold on. This makes me very, very happy. This isn't for everybody. This is for me. But I'm going to pull this out because I want to see how this feels. And no, I haven't. Yes. Okay, bonus points. The Ragkan Bass version of Sting is great. This is happiness to your old vaguely piratical. This is a colonial period, like tomahawk, and this makes me pleased. I feel comfortable right here. I can do things from this. I've got a double keyhole grip in there. Okay. But yeah, this opens the door. All sorts of George Silver actually would appreciate this. Bong. Proper length. I can fight indoors. I can fight below decks on a ship. I can fight in the woods. This makes me happy. Oh, and this I've only had this out of the box and it's already obedient. I haven't even trained it yet. This makes me happy. So yeah, find the fighting styles that make you happy. Now me, I am a geek and a nerd. A nerd collects knowledge, a nerd pursues knowledge, a geek collects things of interest. I collect fighting styles. So I am at once both a geek and a nerd. But need to find that plastic piece for this again. Oh, there it is. I'm all about tailoring, and I'm filing. Who are these? What? Who are these miserable people? But yeah, don't be afraid to not enjoy what you enjoy. And if people tell you you're wrong, you know what you can do? I have found it's wonderful to just simply go, "You're absolutely right. I see your point." And then, well, are you can change? No. Well, you said you see my point. Yeah. And you can't change my mind because this fits me. But that's okay too, guys. One thing, if you pick anything up from me, anything up from what I do, guys, find who you are. Like, around here, I say to the missionary, oh, you know, I have no problem with missionaries who are civil. They understand. Oh yeah, this isn't a thing at all either. Not this is nothing at all. But anyhow, baby Rosalka, baby Rosalka. Anyhow, people who mean well, but don't be aggressive with me on any subject, politically, stylistically. There are a lot of things that I'm into that maybe you're not into. Cool. That's happy right there. Yeah. Oh yeah. This is happy. This is just me totally I've had some really good news and I'm because of the way I grew up and the world I kind of encourage. I'm not good at being happy. That sounds odd, but I have to work. But it takes me a while and I'm realizing some awesome things are going on. Hey, baby knife, baby knife. Yeah, this is still. I'm so mad they discontinued both this trainer and this knife because I love this dang thing. It's just, and it's so not me in most circles. But this is nice. And if it was that long, or I could cause trouble. But this is beautiful, and I'll keep talking about it until somebody bugs CRKT into making it again. But no, baby knife is here. That's knife. This is Jimmy. Can you sing the song? Sure. And this isn't even the smallest knife I carry sometimes, but yeah, guys, we're 40 some odd minutes after my usual closing time. I am singing Baby Knife in Jimmy's voice. I'm only about half a notch from getting myself in all manner of trouble, not only with my wife, but this is that part where I start getting a little too honest for my own good. So what I'm going to say is, guys, I love you. Send me the link, Steve, please. But check your sugar. I don't. I just need to eat something actually. And now it's, you know what? This is nowhere near the most embarrassing thing that I've done on the internet. And it's not the most embarrassing thing I've done, not only all week, but probably not even the most embarrassing thing I've done all day. I'm okay with it. We gotta, guys, because it's hard for me to be happy. I work hard at it because it matters. Hence the bright colored shirts and bright and good things are coming, and especially for those who make it. So I want to thank you guys, my amazing Patreon members. You guys have, yeah, the stutter's coming up, so I'm gonna have to call it. You guys help me do this. You keep me afloat. I'm going to do very soon. Oh, good. Uh, we're going to do a big list field reveal when I get it up and running, which I hope to plan this ringtone. We need that as that's a ringtone now. And I love you guys are like, his blood sugar's off. He needs to go eat something. If you like what I'm doing, consider buying the Simple Sword and the Fighting Axe. You can also support me by picking up the Hybrids, the Sons of Gods, the role playing game. The quick play is out, and we're expecting the full core rule book to come out soon, plus maybe a sequel to this adventure, as people have demanded, brought to you by Lockdown Games and our good friend Luke Stone. Yeah, hey, I'm happy to be here. If I wasn't both needing to eat and some parental duties, I kind of need to check on some things. I do this all night because this is what keeps part of what keeps the days bearable. So, guys, there's not much else I can say. Be good to each other, all right? Be good to yourselves. Get drilling, keep your guard up, and as always, support your local swordmaster. And you know what? Like, share, subscribe. You guys know that shtick. Bye bye.